Yeah, people who are accused of much worse things than I am accused of doing is they are allowed the courtesy. I mean, Donald Trump was allowed the courtesy to turn himself in when he was.
That's right.
He did, yeah.
Don Lemon is now making the rounds, and if you are a Democrat martyr, where do you go? You go on quote-unquote comedian Jimmy Kimmel's show and basically say that the indictment was a complete lie.
So the next day, Trump reposts something from someone saying that you should be arrested, you should be sentenced in prison for violating the FACE Act. And at this point, are you thinking, oh, I might get arrested?
Well, not until they started, you know, the drip, drip, drip of people starting to talk about it. I think Todd Blanche and Pam Bondi and all those folks talked about it. And here's the interesting thing, though, is that after that, you know, I retained an attorney. And the attorney reached out to them and said, basically, I understand that you have an interest because your folks have been talking about it. And so if you are serious about this, then let's do it the right way. He's perfectly willing to self-report it, which means turn yourself in. And so we don't have to go through this whole rigmarole, and never heard back from them.
That is customary in a situation like this, that someone would be allowed to turn themselves in.
Yeah, people who are accused of much worse things than I am accused of doing is they are allowed the courtesy. I mean, Donald Trump was allowed the courtesy to turn himself in when he was.
That's right.
He did, yeah.
And so then the DOJ goes around and tries to find, and correct me if I have any of this wrong, some judges to charge you, and the judges say, no, we're not going to do that.
I think it was 2 different judges and an appeals court. I think so. It was 3 altogether.
And then they find a grand jury.
Right.
And do you know, are you familiar with how that happens? Like, how do they find this group of people who are willing to bring charges against you?
I don't know. I'm not that, you know, astute with it, but at least I don't know the process that well because I'm not an attorney. But, you know, I assume that they figure out who the folks are and they send it to them, and then they write up the indictment as to what they are, you know, what they want charged, and then they give it to them. But you can write whatever you want to in an indictment. As I've been doing some research, you can say whatever you want, and for, you know, even if you lie about it, prosecutors can pretty much say what they want with impunity, and they don't face any sort of consequence.
All right, if you follow politics, you know everyone's got an opinion. Your group chats the pundits, and yes, even me. But on Polymarket, you get something better. Well, maybe not than me, but it's still pretty good. Real odds on what's actually likely to happen. Polymarket is a prediction market where people trade on real events, elections, debates, policy moves, and more. And it doesn't stop at politics. You'll find markets on the economy, tech, sports, pop culture, and even random internet moments that blow up for a week. It's live, transparent, and gives you a legit vibe check on what people really think. You've definitely heard about Polymarket before, so take a second and check it out. Head on over to polymarket.com right now. Oh, so grand jury indictments are just made up. Interesting, because you all took the complete reverse position when you were trying to stop Donald Trump from being on the ballot and becoming president again, but he is president again. Now, interesting. Let's talk about what he was actually charged with for a moment, and I will read it to you. He was charged with violation of the FACE Act, and I will read it word for word. The FACE Act is a federal law that prohibits using force, threats of force, or physical obstruction to intentionally injure, intimidate, or interfere with people seeking or providing reproductive health services or exercising religious freedom at a place of worship. Now, I think we have, we're going to get it in just a second. Okay, we're going to grab it in just a second, one of the images. We don't have to show you all the video of that day. But once again, Don Lemon went in with the protesters. Do you think he was intimidating? Do you think as they were up there yelling and screaming at these people, look at that kid, look at that father, I assume that's the mother, or maybe it's the sister. I mean, that's intimidation right there. They were there, their political views are irrelevant, utterly irrelevant. Places of worship are protected spaces according to the SAFE Act. If we shred that notion, then there will be no places of worship, which perhaps is actually what the left wants, right? It might be. But if we shred that and anyone can interrupt anyone anywhere for any reason, we are done. We are done. We cannot tolerate it. Because, by the way, it'll always be the lefties doing it to the people on the right. It won't be the people on the right that are constantly interrupting and trying to disturb the peaceful assembly and worship of people on the left. I don't know what people on the left worship anyway.